Good evening and welcome to Reality Check. I'm Sanket Upadhyay. Let us make no mistake and call it what it is. It is a national oxygen emergency. That is what it is. Yes, we did not plan in advance. Yes, we had no plan in place. And that is why we are struggling right now. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? But the story is not about what we did not do in the past. That is already behind us. The story is what we are doing right now as far as dealing with this crisis. Is the response right now the best response? Or could we have done better? Could we have started by treating it like a national oxygen emergency? Are we doing that? Or are we unfortunately noticing a situation where this is nothing but a political blame game, where you've got representatives of center saying in courts that anyone who's highlighting issues of shortage is actually sensationalizing. What is so sensational in the fact that doctors after doctors, hospitals after hospitals, not just political parties, are now coming out and tweeting and giving letters, some of them even asking COVID patients to go. Which is why it is very important to understand these three words, and we'll put that out on screen once again. Call it, and then a response will follow. This is a national oxygen emergency, and this, at this moment, we're not talking about the past, at this moment is a crisis mismanaged or badly handled. My colleague Meher Pandey took a tour of many of the hospitals to figure out what the situation really is, and on the ground, how this oxygen shortage is playing out.
So we are here at Rathi Hospital, a really small private hospital on the outskirts of Delhi near Najafgarh. And we know that last night they were on the brink of losing all their oxygen supply, and even just an hour ago they had almost completely run out. If my camera person can pan over there, we can see that this is in stark contrast to larger hospitals in Delhi, which have bigger cylinders. This hospital only has around 10 cylinders that they have to refill almost every hour, less than that even. And the around 75 patients who are inside on oxygen support are relying on these people here who have to refill it every hour, and it really is minute to minute at Rathi Hospital.
You actually don't get beds, but once you get the bed, the hospital is trying their level best. But because of the situation right now in Delhi and the government infrastructure, they're unable to procure oxygen. And at the last minute, they're trying to procure whatever they could, and they have been trying their best to get it. So it's like a kind of a relay race that whenever they're running out, minimum supplies are being provided, and they're able to stretch for an hour and so.
So is it just you and your father? Who else is in the family? Are they here as well?
No, my mother is also with us, but she is in home isolation as of now. She's a little better on this front. So my dad is asthmatic, so he needs oxygen support, so he's been admitted for 3 days.
Right. So is he getting continuous oxygen support, or what has
Yes. So he's been here for 3 days. The situation has started getting worse from last night itself. Otherwise, he has been on constant oxygen support.
Right. So what happened last night?
The hospital told us, and we were witnessing ourselves, that the oxygen supplies were running out, and then there were desperate calls being done to the authorities. So authorities could arrange, last night, and it has been the vicious circle from last night onwards. You can see Delhi police around. They have been able to escort the oxygen cylinders from wherever they could procure, and it's like kind of a relay race. You are getting at the last minute, and they are just pushing for some hours on and on. So this has been happening from last night onwards.
Right. So your mother in home isolation, how is she feeling about this whole situation? That her husband is here?
Frankly, we have not informed her that this is the kind of situation. Neither my father, who's admitted here, so we have advised everybody or the hospital not to switch on the news channels in the rooms. So because anybody who's in home, who's being treated would obviously feel panic about it. So that is the situation as of now. The attendants know about it, but the patient should not be eventually informed about it also.
Right. So like you as the only person in the family who knows this is happening, what has that been like for you, my God?
So I'm at the front who knows about it and is witnessing it. Everybody else can only give us support because the situation is as such. We can't ask anybody also to come forward and help us because, it's bad everywhere, and it's like a catastrophe as of now. So everybody is on holding on to whatever they could do their best.
डेथ हुई है, अभी अंदर बॉडी है,
अंदर बॉडी
बॉडी अंदर है।
आप इतनी वेट कर रहे थे?
मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ सवेरे से। मेरा बेटा कल से भगोना का 2 दिन पहले से कह रहा है कि नीचे शिफ्ट करो, नीचे शिफ्ट करो। नीचे शिफ्ट नहीं किया इन्होंने।
नीचे क्या है?
नीचे उसकी हालत ठीक थी, जब था बिल्कुल नॉर्मल था, बढ़िया था। ऊपर जाते ही इन्होंने उसका नाम हालत बिगड़ती गई है।
अच्छा, आईसीयू में जाकर उनकी
हालत बिगड़ गई है। पहले बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक था।
उनको
ऑक्सीजन की इनके कह रहे मेरे पास है नहीं ऑक्सीजन।
तो बिना ऑक्सीजन के यहाँ पर आपकी बेटे की
डेथ हुई है।
उन्होंने बताया कि कॉज ऑफ डेथ क्या था?
उन्होंने बताया हार्ट अटैक है।
आपके बेटे की क्या क्या एज थी, कितने साल की?
34।
34।
हाँ।
उनकी वाइफ थी, बच्चे थे उनके?
उनका एक बेटा है 4 साल का।
4 साल।
हाँ।
So this is just one small incident that has happened in a corner of Delhi. Imagine this is happening everywhere across all hospitals. This hospital is somehow managing to get their oxygen supply going. Many hospitals in the state capital of Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, have run out of oxygen. They've pasted a notice saying that we don't have oxygen, so please take your patients away. The similar scenes happening in Noida. How has this oxygen crisis been mismanaged, and what could have been done, or what can be done even now to prevent this situation from occurring tomorrow onwards? Let me now quickly introduce Dr. Kausar A. Shah. He is the COO of Akash Healthcare. We also have Dr. D.S. Rana, Chairman of the Board of Management, Sir Gangaram Hospital. Thank you very much, Dr. Rana. We have Dr. Ritesh Malik, Director of Radix Healthcare, and Dr. Rahul Pandit, member of the Maharashtra COVID Task Force. Dr. Rana, let me begin with you first. I want to ask you this question. Yes, there is a crisis. Yes, there is an oxygen shortage. But you know, for someone who's the chairman of this big hospital, what do you suggest be done right now? See, you can't survive, you can't win this battle without oxygen. You will need it. What will your suggestion be?
Sanket, there is no doubt that you will need it, and these are all happened because of very acute rise in COVID cases in second wave, you know. And as a result, there is a huge disparity between supply and demand. So we have to increase supply and decrease demand. But how do we meet the requirement? I think the oxygen plants which are manufacturing, they have to step up the requirement, but they can also go to up to an extent only at such a short time now. And the other measure which the government has taken, that industrial oxygen be diverted toward medical use, that will take, I think, I don't know, 1 or 2 days, probably expert will be able to tell. And at the same time, I think some equidistribution as per need. Now you cannot have storage for 2 days or 3 days, but at this we are working on 24 hours. Everybody should get, every hospital, small or big, should get oxygen. At the same time, hospital should try to reduce the wastage of oxygen, and those wastage measures have been discussed. Actually, bigger hospitals, they are all aware of this. But oxygen we use very judiciously till we are able to get adequate oxygen. So all these are measures actually, that's what we can do. But whosoever is controlling the nodal offices of state government, they should ensure that all hospitals are getting adequate supply of oxygen. That is what I can say.
Correct. Correct. Dr. Pandit, what's your experience been? Because you know there is a shortage. I mean, we can sit and discuss why there was a shortage in the past. We didn't plan enough. We could have planned during peacetime. But here we are. I mean, you know, there is a shortage. How do you manage this crisis from here on? For instance, your Maharashtra example or experience.
So I think the first thing we need to look at is the supply chain which needs to be restored. And I'm not an expert in that. I'm a clinician, and I would like to talk like a clinician in terms of how we can use oxygen better in the hospital.
Okay.
So one of the first things which we can do is we can start nursing most of the patients in a prone position so that they can lie down on a tummy. There is a good scientific fact that the moment they do that, the oxygen saturation picks up by a couple of points. and whereby we save even a liter of oxygen on per patient, that would still be a saving of a lot of oxygen. Secondly, we need to probably move the goalpost a little bit. So those patients who require oxygen in a hospital, instead of targeting the 97 to 99 percentile saturation, there is a good evidence in medicine to say that you can actually bring down the target to say 92 to 94%, provided they are neurologically aware and awake and alert. Or those patients who are on a ventilator, the same target can be moved to say 90 to 92%, so that we can save that much of oxygen delivery to every patient which is going on. And that would actually bring down the consumption, have a little judicious use of oxygen. I'm not saying deprive anybody of oxygen, just change the goalpost so that the blood oxygen levels, which we actually calculate by an ABG, arterial blood gas, remain between 55 and 65 millimeters of mercury, which is absolutely physiologically acceptable. Secondly, as Dr. Rana said, fix up the leaks. There are lots of valves which keep on leaking, flow meters which keep on leaking. If every hospital maintenance department takes that much of effort to actually come and fix this up, you will be saving some amount of oxygen there as well. So these simple measures which can be done right now while the supply chain gets restored, actually help us in saving the oxygen for the patients who need it. And the last and not the least, that when the patients don't need oxygen, you can actually, if they are getting discharged on a liter of oxygen or so, rather than saying कि आप घर पे cylinder लगा लो, basically ask them to use oxygen concentrator, where the oxygen is concentrated from the air and it can be used by patients' families at home. This way, it will help them to save us the trouble of actually having a cylinder to be put at home.
Very interesting suggestion.
And let the oxygen concentrators be used at home. And this is the reality right now. Many people are holding cylinders at home as a backup. Rather than doing that, they can have the oxygen concentrators at home.
True. I think these are fantastic suggestions in this time of crisis by Dr. Pandit. But let's get in some practical experience. We spoke to Dr. Rana, but we also have Dr. Kausar and Dr. Malik with us. Dr. Malik, I want to come to you now and want to ask you this crisis. Would you agree with Dr. Pandit that perhaps the only option that you have right now is to judiciously use the supply that you have? But see, what's happening in most hospitals now increasingly is that there is no oxygen. So you can only be economical with something that you have.
Sanket, very valid points by Dr. Rana and Dr. Rahul. I completely agree with them, but as you rightly said, we do not have oxygen. Yesterday at 4 a.m. in the morning, we literally had tears in our eyes. We did not have oxygen. We just had 80 minutes of oxygen left in our hospital, which has over 46 patients of COVID. This is a massive impending doom in front of us. And the authorities need to step up their game. They need to ensure in Essential Medicine Act, oxygen is an essential medicine, and it is a criminal neglect if a patient dies because of lack of oxygen. Can you, me, or all the panelists on this show today stop oxygen and stop breathing for even 1.5 minutes? The answer is no. Oxygen is so important, and also in COVID, it is the main therapy. Remdesivir, FabiFlu, and various other medicines like ivermectin, they have questionable impact on the disease. But oxygen is one particular thing in severe cases. It gives significant symptomatic and overall curation experience to the patient. In my opinion, and this is a massive neglect by the authorities, and they should have seen it coming. And to an already overburdened healthcare infrastructure, this is something which is just a menace and needs to be managed. In a state like Delhi, the government said that health is a state subject. We do not have a single liquid oxygen manufacturing plant, and we are dependent on NCR, we are dependent on Noida, we are dependent on Panipat, we are dependent on Faridabad. Now, their respective states say that we don't have oxygen. That's and true. They have stopped giving oxygen to hospitals in Delhi. Now, you tell me, what does a hospital do? We have our medical frontline workers are getting COVID infested. Our medicines are getting over in Allahabad. Medicines, basic medicines like paracetamol are out of stock. We are in a massive healthcare crisis right now, and the entire government, the entire society needs to just focus on one thing and manage COVID, irrespective. And for that, even if lockdown needs to be done, let's do that. But we need to ensure that COVID is past us. This these trains, 65% of all the cases are below the age of 45. On day in and day out, we are losing young people. We lost a 27-year-old yesterday. We are seeing such large massacre happening, and we need to ensure that the government needs to ensure that oxygen is a fundamental right.
I think it's a very passionate appeal that has been made by Dr. Malik, because this is the practical difficulty being faced by hospitals. Dr. Pandit, unfortunately what has happened is that in the national capital suddenly, you can only be economical in your use of oxygen when there is oxygen. Unfortunately, there is no oxygen in Delhi's hospitals, in some of Delhi's hospitals, and the situation is a lot worse in Uttar Pradesh. Dr. Kausar Shah is also with us. Dr. Shah, maybe you may want to share your experience and also any suggestions that you have. See, we have to look at solutions now.
Yeah, okay. So in fact, my experience, I would just like to say in one line. Today, we almost saw a doomsday. We were just nearing the end of the oxygen in our hospital, and we had 200 plus patients whose lifeline was purely dependent on the oxygen continuous supply. Now, when this was about to be hampered, we were absolutely panicked and we were really scared. But somehow we kept our cool, we reached out to authorities, we got some help as well. And we also tried not to get the panic be rooted to the patients or attendants level, because then it could have been a difficult task to handle that. Now, coming to the situation, I think one of the key points, some of the speakers have already spoken, that while the industries were being shifted from Delhi region, it remained in NCR, but as a result of the shift, they were actually somewhat in UP, some in Haryana, some in other states. So now when this crisis happened, everybody is trying to control their own states and try to see how their supply can be taken care of in their own state. So as a result, despite being in the center, we suffered in Delhi, and this seems to be going on right now. But I believe a lot could have been avoided if there was a centralized control over the entire oxygen supply.
Which is exactly what is happening, Dr. Shah. Dr. Shah, that's exactly how things are.
Yeah, exactly. So now this is going to be happening. This is probably a bit late. This could have been avoided. I think for the last about 10 days, all the healthcares have been screaming about this particular aspect coming over. And if the center has responded a bit early, this could have been controlled. This could have been avoided a bit. We don't even know how many lives could have been lost or already have been lost because of oxygen supply not being in place in some of the hospitals. So another suggestion which I would like to suggest is if the government can still think about creating small oxygen concentrator packs. Like many of the hospitals are giving home care kits to the patients when the patient can be taken care of at home itself. If these kits can also be having an oxygen concentrator, the cost may increase a bit, but the load on the hospitals will come down and a lot of patients can be taken care of at home.
But then there will be a new crisis. No, how many of these oxygen concentrator kits we have in this country?
So that's exactly what I'm trying to say. That is very, very less in fact. And that's what again the focus should be, that we must try to create these as much as possible.
Absolutely. No, there needs to be let me quickly go back to Dr. Rana. Dr. Rana, see, two solutions are required, and I really appreciate what Dr. Pandit said on the judicious use of oxygen. But Dr. Rana, we have to prepare for the immediate crisis and also the future. And I'm sure we have learnt it the hard way this time around, that hospitals should not be tweeting, or hospitals should not be giving out statements and requesting to the government, we need oxygen. We only have to, this is a pretty shameful state of affairs for a country as huge as ours. Dr. Rana.
Yes, Saket, you are right. It is for the first time that we ever requested the government. Actually, in fact, we never requested government, but when our regular vendor, Inox, told us that they cannot give us more than 5,000 cubic meter of oxygen, which is just double the normal requirement. Then we wanted alternative vendor. We contacted IOL and they told that they cannot give oxygen till Delhi government gives nod to them. And that is why we for the first time came to know that government is also required to come. And now, as you rightly pointed out, they have got some nodal officers and other people that are regulating it, But I think it is a very difficult task. Right now, it is very important that every hospital gets oxygen in time, as all of you are saying. In fact, in a bigger hospital like the Gangaram, we have, if nobody supplies oxygen at night, then by 3 o'clock we will be totally over. We will not have any oxygen at all.
Good Lord. Let's just
We have
hope that
already
does
made
not
request
happen.
to-
Dr. Rana, let me
Yeah.
ask you this question at a personal level. Have you ever experienced something like this in
Never.
your life?
Never. I am there for more than 45 in my career. We have never experienced this sort of thing. There is shortage of oxygen.
What about you, Dr. Pandit?
Never, and I hope we never have to basically see another few days like this. I honestly feel so. One of the things which I can suggest is, I mean, the current crisis is absolutely deplorable. But what we can do is we can actually have these bigger hospitals like I'm from Fortis, Dr. Rana's Gangaram and stuff, can actually put up air concentrator, bigger panels in their hospital for the future, because this is the second wave. When second wave comes, the epidemic says that you have a third wave already staring at you. We have to learn and we have to start planning as well. So we can't leave that to happen at the last time. So let's put up these big air concentrator units so that we are not dependent on supply all the time. Supply is very important, but we should be able to produce some oxygen of our own from the air as well.
I think these are valid suggestions. Thank you very much to the 4 doctors who highlighted their plight and at the same time, in this time of crisis, offered suggestions and solutions to the government. I hope the government's listening. Thank you very much to all you doctors. We're stopping for a short break at this moment. News continues on the other side. Stay with us.